Hello everyone. Welcome to this edition of Dishing Out Flavor with Jonquel. Today I'm going to be making a beef and cabbage dish. It's not going to be like the Napa cabbage or regular green or purple cabbage. I'm going to be using Bok Choy. Bok Choy is a part of the cabbage family. So I already have like some semi-frozen beef here. It's actually the eye of round thins, so I'm gonna cut this up a little bit more. By it being partially frozen, it makes it easier to cut. So just make these into some nice little edible strips. I'm gonna serve these over another pan-fried noodle, but this time I'm gonna actually do the frying of the noodle on camera. Last time I really didn't show much of the noodle being fried on camera, so I'll actually include that in this segment today. Someone's at my door. Doorbell ringing. Okay, my loves, I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. That was my Lakanto package. I haven't been able to find the Lakanto allulose in any of the grocery stores, so I ordered it from on Amazon. And I don't have access to the links of Amazon because I don't have enough people that use the links that I was providing in the past. And so Amazon was like, wait till you build more of a rapport and get more subscribers. And I was like, that makes sense. I thought everything was going to kick off really fast for me when I applied to them, but it's been slow and steady, and I'm fine with that. Okay, so back to these eye round thins here. I've already cut them to the size that I want, and of course it's going to be a lot thinner. That's just what they look like piled up because they're frozen, but separately, see if I can get a piece away from here. There'll be small thin strips like so. Alright, so let me get everything together and let's get over to the stove. Okay, go ahead and let the wok get hot. Just bringing all of my other ingredients in close because this dish is gonna move a bit fast as far as this part, which will allow me then to go back over to the counter and make the dough for the fried noodle. Let's go ahead and add some oil. I'll start with 3 tablespoons of oil. Well, that was an abundance of overflow. So 3.5 tablespoons of oil. Okay. Okay, to the beef, I'll be adding in some chopped jalapenos, garlic, and onion. That'll go right in. I'll be adding another family of onion, which would be some leeks that I have chopped up. And I'll be grating in some fresh ginger. I would say that would probably be about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to add in some chicken bouillon. A little bit of monk fruit sweetener with the allulose. I always go by the very palm of my hand, the very middle. That way I always know that be about 1/2 teaspoon. And that's what that looks like. I've been cooking for years and years, so I can pretty much eyeball and come up with the measurements that way. I'm going to do the same thing with some sea salt. Same thing here. And like I said, this is about 1 teaspoon, which is that right there. So you can pour that in. Actually, this is more of 1/2 teaspoon. So we'll do the 1/2 teaspoon. Pour that in. And see there? 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. Let's give all this a nice little mix. Let this continue to simmer. Okay, to this, I'm going to add a little bit of dark soy sauce. Some of my Maggi seasoning. And some cooking wine. Growing up in Louisiana, I would watch this Cajun cook named Justin, and he would fan the flames or the steam out to people that was in his audience, and he'd be like, "Whoo-wee, smell that shit," you know. And I always found that so funny. And he would mention if they had smell-o-vision, you know, which would be awesome if there was such a thing, to be able to smell what someone is cooking through the television. Then again, I don't know, sometimes not everything smells good in the beginning. The ending of the dish may turn out well, but sometimes that beginning, you know, it needs some work. Add just a little bit more dark soy sauce. There we go. I'm going to put a top on this, or a lid rather. But before I do that, I'm going to throw in my bok choy. You guys probably can't see all that wonderful beef and stuff in there. There you go. And let me throw in the bok choy. Lower my flame here because I pretty much want this to stew. And the bok choy, it'll wilt. And yet still having some crunch to it. And then all the juices of the meat, that's pretty much what's going to go over that pan-fried noodle. And adding a lid will help this produce more juices. All those delicious beef juices. Okay guys, I'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to make the noodle part of the dish. 63 grams of this. All of that. Give this a little bit of a mix. Sometimes when I'm in the kitchen, I have an idea and it just works out right the very first time. Hardly ever do I have to shift a recipe to my save for later, try again list. So I didn't have to do that when it came to these noodles. Well, actually, I sort of did, because I meant for these to be a noodle that you can boil for a nice little pasta, but it didn't turn out that way. It would pretty much disintegrate if you add this mixture into water. So when I fried it, and I was like, oh, hey, this make a great fried noodle. So that's how that came about. So from an accident of a recipe to a blessing of a recipe, you know. Okay, let's add my hot water. Well, I should say warm water. It's not really hot. You know, guys, going off of the smell of this, I'm pretty sure if I was to add some butter and some sweetener to this, this would make a really good fried bread, like what my grandmother used to make that I talked about in my other videos. Because that's what this is reminding me of. That's what the smell is reminding me of. And oftentimes when I'm in the mood for a certain dish that was made by my grandmother or my mom, I just close my eyes and I recall what it smelled like and what it tastes like, and I recreate my dishes from that. So my love of food definitely extends from the women in my family, and the women in my family were all great cooks. Well, let me change that. Not all of them. Some of them they had their dish specialties, but then there were some that could, you know, really throw down. And my mom was one of them. My grandmother, my father's mom, she was another. And then my dad's sister, she was really good. My Aunt May, she was awesome in the kitchen. So my mom name is Verna, or was. She's, you know, resting in peace. Actually, all of my family, as far as aunts and uncles, are. I have one living uncle on my mom's side. All the rest of them are resting peacefully. But even the men in my family, you know, cooking was passed on to them as well. I have several uncles and cousins and brothers that are in the field of cooking. Okay, so this is looking good to me. It's all kneaded just right. And I'm going to take this over to the pasta machine and make it into fettuccine noodles and then fry it up in the pan. But first, I have to let this sit for about like 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and, okay, well, I've already washed this bowl off. We'll do that like so. And voila, I'll be back in 10. All right, go ahead and cut this in 4. Cover that back up. I'll work with this piece here. And let's move over to the pasta maker. Okay, so I have my piece of dough and I have my pasta machine on number 8. And I just have some extra flour down on the towel or some extra bamboo fiber down there. So I just keep turning the dial and I'll go all the way down to a 3. I'll pass it through each setting about 2 or 3 times and then I change the number. Okay, I'll be back when I get to number 3. Okay, I am at number 3. And then what I do is I just take and tap the bottom of that down into the bamboo fiber. And so then I have that on that side there. And then I just take the little brush that comes with the pasta machine and get rid of the extra bamboo fiber. And I pass it in for a final run. Oh, starting to get thin in some places, but that's okay. Alright. So now I'll take and run it through the fettuccine cutter. The pasta strand actually broke in 2, but that's okay. So now we have, now we have our noodles. This is 2 of them stuck together, but you can just easily pull that apart. See that? Okay, so I'm going to do this to the other noodles, and then I'll come back. We'll be at the stove ready to fry these up. Okay, I am back. My oil is heated in the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the noodles. I'm just going to layer them in. And as they're sizzling and cooking and getting all brown and everything, I'm only putting them in one at a time because I don't want to overcrowd the pan, and where some of them still end up being raw. I don't want that. Okay, so I'll just let that brown for a bit. So when they start to become brown and they stiffen, then you'll know they're ready to flip over. Which can still be tricky, almost like how flipping a pancake over is tricky. Same thing with the noodles. I would even say that these fried noodles would make a great snack once you fry them up, and then you sprinkle on some white cheese powder, some garlic powder, and more salt. I've even made these thicker, like stopped it about maybe the number 6 and cut them with my pizza cutter and made fries with this very recipe. So if you guys want to do that, you can. Okay, so those are down. Probably wasn't enough oil. Putting at least 1 to 1.5, possibly 2 tablespoons of oil should do it for the noodles. Okay guys, well, next time I come back I'll be showing you the final plating. Alright guys, you have beef, everything is all ready. The bok choy cooked more than I wanted it to, but that's okay, I like it this way as well. I put it in the oven because I wanted it to be still kind of warm, but I forgot I had the oven on from a previous recipe. But anyway, moving on. Alright friends, we are gonna call this done. Add on a little bit more juice here. Alright, that's that. Hit this with a few little sesame seeds. And we're gonna call this done. Now, you can eat this with a fork and a spoon if you want to, but because it's a pan-fried noodle, I actually like to eat mine by hand so I can tear away a little bit of everything. So getting in there and getting a piece of the bok choy, the noodles, the beef, you know, a nice little mouthful there. One moment, please. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. This is so good. So good. My beef and bok choy or beef and cabbage. This is delicious. Those seasonings, that dark soy sauce, that ginger, and everything else that's in here just blends so well together. I mean, it's just a mouthful of flavor that's like coming at you in the best of ways. So I'm gonna finish enjoying myself. I will see you guys on the next video. Take care and God bless.